but I'm not expecting people to welcome me with open arms. What I do know is that if someone is skeptical, that's perfectly fine. That's where they're at. I find that's more men. Men are more skeptical because they're more left brain. And please, men, don't take this offensively, but men are not as evolved as women. Please don't take it personally is what I mean. We evolve according to like how the chakras move, right? Let me explain that. So when somebody is in that mentality of hunter gatherer, I have to protect, I'm the protector, I'm the provider, that's the lower nature. Think of your lower chakras, your root chakra, your base chakra, tribal, like hunter gatherer, Your lower chakras are also about power, sex, all of the lower nature things that people get caught up in. Sex, money, power, control. That's all based in those lower chakras. Well, if you look at, for example, like death row, there's like 4,000 people in the United States on death row, but like only 50 or less than 50 are women. Why is that? Because men tend to live more in the lower nature. Women have more empathy. They're deeper feelers, right? Y'all get where I'm coming from. Don't take this and run with it and use it against someone or judge anybody with this information. It's just information. So as we evolve, the more we evolve, the more empathy we develop. So women are more closer developed towards the heart chakra, where men are still evolving, right? They're still in that lower nature. Now, is this wrong? No, this is actually just how it is. It's just how it is. We need that. I mean, we have masculine, feminine energy. This is how it's supposed to be. But what I really want people to hear is that, I'll just say it, women make good leaders. I'm not saying men don't, but what I'm saying that women make good leaders is because they have evolved up into that level of having empathy. And look, I'm not saying every woman does, because I know some bitches, and I'll just flat out say it. There are some. Not everybody's perfect, but what I'm trying to get at is there's nothing that I'm saying that's right, wrong, or a reason to judge. It's just information. That's why I always tell people, when you consider something evil, for example, so everything comes from the same source. This is just what I've been taught. Everything comes from the same source, the same light source, the creator energy. Anything that we consider evil or dark is just something that's moved further and further away from the light. And that can be when someone gets really caught up in the need to control, or the hunger for money, or obsessed with sex. In all of those lower nature, lower chakra feelings, when they get really caught up in that, or addictions and all, those are lower nature feelings. That's moving you further and further away from the light. Now, I'm not saying somebody can't drink a beer if they want. What I'm saying is like attachments. When you get attached, when you get addicted to sex and power, and well, you're just moving further and further away from the light, right? And does that make you evil? No, but what it does is it makes you move further and further away from the light. Just factual. It's just factual. And that's all okay. So why did I say that we have 4,000 people on death row and less than 50 are women? That's exactly what I'm trying to say. You don't see a lot of women raping men, but why do men rape women? What is that about? Well, we know sex and control and all of the things I just talked about. So it's just energy. That's all it is. So men tend to be more skeptical about things in general because they're still living in the lower nature. I hope that makes sense. The top three chakras, which are your throat, your forehead, your top of your head, we have more chakras than that, but those are more of your spiritual centers, and your heart's in the center. Those, kind of merge the lower chakras and the upper chakras. Well, most women have gotten to that place where they are able to feel deep empathy, sympathy. Not all women, that's true. Not all women, but a lot of women. And so that opens them up to those higher chakras, which is not coming from a place of just walking around being skeptical. I hope this makes sense. I hope it makes sense, because I'm not saying it to judge anyone. I'm just giving info. So men haven't quite gotten there yet. And so when they have a belief that they've been taught, it becomes their truth. And if they say they were like my brother-in-law, for example, was raised Southern Baptist. He was taught a certain way. And I remember asking him several years ago, why is it every time your kids, they're grown adults now, but they would ask me like spiritual questions and stuff, my brother-in-law would leave, like get up and walk out of the room. And I love him to death. We're close. He's a great person. He's like a brother. But I asked him that one day, why did you leave? And he said, you know what? And I'm so glad we had the conversation. He said, if I actually witnessed you do a reading and I saw proof, because your sister, meaning his wife, has seen you do this work. And he said, it scares me, because if I actually saw you do it and you proved it to me, it would make me question every single thing I've been taught, like on a religious level. I said, thank you for explaining that. That makes sense. So I hope that makes sense to everybody, because that belief system that's instilled in you from a young age becomes part of your programming. And when it's religious based, then people really hang on to it. You know, it's, for me, if I were just to be blunt, I would say it this way. Look, I was one of those Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night families. We went to church nonstop. Some of the meanest, most judgmental people I've ever met were the ones sitting in that church. Not all of them. Don't take me wrong. Not all of them. But it didn't resonate. It didn't feel right to me anymore for various reasons that just were not godlike to me. Okay, you know why a lot of people are atheists? They're atheists because they don't believe in this bearded man in the sky that's ready to judge you and kill you for this and that. I can understand why people question God because of what they've been taught. I mean, God, it's crazy to me. That's why I was saying, if anybody ever teaches you anything in a fear-based way, question it. It doesn't matter what it is. Just always trust your gut. If something doesn't feel right, trust it. You know, I was always that little kid in church, because kids can't whisper. And I was nudging my mom. They're teaching this wrong. I was 5 years old, calling the preacher out. When he's yelling, sinner this, sinner that, you do this, you're going to hell. I was like, you mean person. But then when they talk about love and Jesus's teachings and all of that felt right. My point is, we have created this fear-based structure that has limited people in so many ways. And where I was going with that was, like with me, with the work I do, I run into that. I run into judgment. I don't see it all the time. People aren't coming up cussing me out. If they do it behind my back, I don't care. I have no attachment. I'm not here for you people. That's if you don't want to see me, you don't have to. There's nobody that's going to come pick you up and put handcuffs on you and bring you to my house and make you hear from your deceased grandma. No one. No one's going to do that. I don't have any attachment to opinions. I am here for those that get led to me, and it's always a divine source that does it. Most people that come to me for a reading think they're making the appointment, but I can guarantee that their deceased loved ones are playing a role. I see it all the time. All the time. It plays out all the time like that. And so I just know that there's the spirit world is my boss, basically. I always say Jesus is my boss. Mother Mary is my boss. But my point is that that's who I'm here for. I'm here to be a voice for those that don't have it anymore, and I'm proud to do it. I do not have any guilt and shame about who I am. I don't question who I am. I also am one that truly walks the earth, and I try and do it in a gentle way and not cause harm to anyone. There are plenty of people that try to cause harm to me, and what my guides have always said is keep your frequency up. Keep your frequency high, And you become immune from all of that junk, the trashy junk that is being spewed by people that don't understand or jealous or whatever it is. And I get what Lola would mean by that when she would say keep your frequency up, because when you're in a happy, healed state of being, you're not affected by anything. In fact, you can actually affect others in a positive way. So that's why I always say you don't fight fire with fire, you fight fire with love. It's, everything's energy. But my point in all of that was to say that I know deep within me that I did volunteer to come and do this work. And I volunteered to do it in the state of Louisiana, which is one of the lowest frequencies in the entire country. I kid you not. It's one of the lowest frequencies. Like whenever I was taking the shamanic practitioner classes in New York and California, I'm like, these are my people. Like they had such a high frequency. I felt like this is my tribe, right? And then I would have to fly back to Louisiana. And the minute I would step off the plane, there was this heavy feeling. It's like I can't breathe. And it's just heavy energy. So doing this kind of work that requires a high frequency can be pretty damn challenging when I'm in a low frequency environment, meaning state. And look, please don't think I'm judging everybody and acting better than. That's not where I'm coming from. Some of my favorite people are from right here in Louisiana. Even though I'm not originally from here, I'm from Biloxi. These are my people. This is my home. It just is. I mean, I've grown to love this place. Do we have a lot of violence in the city I live in? Yeah, we do. And it affects everybody, remember, because we're all connected. Energy is energy. So it hasn't been easy to work in a place like this. A friend of mine came in from, actually had somebody that I talked to that came in from Sedona a couple of years ago, but also a friend of mine that was from California that hadn't been to Louisiana before that flew here to teach a conference. And when the male from Sedona also said this, it took them like 2 weeks when they went home to like shed the energy they felt from here. And they said, how in the hell do you work from there? How do you get anything done? Like working in this environment, like it made me physically feel sick. And I said, I guess I'm used to it. I guess because they're like, hey, we have Louisiana and Alabama left, and you can be a medium at either state. Where you go? I'm like, I ain't going to Alabama. Just kidding. But it's true. Alabama's pretty, but, it's the whole football thing. But I know on a soul level, I said, I've got this, I can handle it. But, yeah, it hasn't been easy. It's been challenging. But if somebody wants to hate what I do, like I said, it's just because they don't understand. I don't take their judgment or even their character flaws personally. That's their stuff. I mean, it has nothing to do with me. It rolls right off my shoulders. So, does not bother me. But I, made the commitment to come here and do this, and I'm not going to lie. There's been a few times I've wanted to give up, but I said, nope, I'm going to stick it out. And I have. And here I am. All right, I'm going to make another recording.